My husband started talking in his sleep, but one night he said something that made me realize he wasn't asleep at all. It started small, just whispers. At first I thought it was stress. My husband Nate had been working late for weeks, coming home with that hollow look of someone who leaves their soul in the office. So when he started murmuring in his sleep, I didn't think much of it until the night he said my name. It wasn't a gentle, loving murmur. It was sharp, urgent. When Clara, don't go down there. I had been half asleep, curled beside him when he spoke. His voice was hoarse, like someone warning me through a wall. I turned toward him. His eyes were closed, face relaxed, breathing steady. Clara, he whispered again, softer this time. It's coming. I sat up. Nate? He didn't answer. The clock on the nightstand glowed 3:07 a.m. The air felt heavy, too still, like the moment before a thunderstorm. I reached for his shoulder. Hey, you're dreaming. He didn't move. Then, in a voice I barely recognized, deeper, colder, he said, I told you not to open the door. I froze. What door? I whispered, even though I knew he couldn't hear me. He smiled, just barely. The kind of smile that makes you want to step back. The one in the basement? We didn't have a basement, at least. I didn't think we did. The next morning, he acted like nothing had happened. Morning, babe, he said, kissing my temple as he poured his coffee. Did you sleep okay? I asked, studying him. He nodded. Out like a rock. You? Not really. He frowned. Nightmares again? Something like that. I wanted to tell him about what he'd said, how wrong his voice had sounded, but something stopped me. Maybe I didn't want him to laugh. Maybe I didn't want to admit I was scared. Instead, I watched him leave for work, that usual half wave over his shoulder, the one he'd done every day for 8 years. As soon as he was gone, I went down to the laundry room. It was the lowest part of the house, barely used, but something about his words had crawled under my skin. I stared at the floor. It was concrete, cracked, nothing unusual, except for one patch near the back wall where the cement looked newer, different color. I crouched, touched it, cold, smooth. Someone had sealed something there. That night, he did it again. It was 2:43 a.m. when he started mumbling. I turned on my side, eyes open, listening. Clara? I didn't answer. You shouldn't have gone down there. I swallowed. My skin prickled. It's awake now. Nate, I whispered, shaking him gently. Wake up. His eyes opened instantly. Not like someone startled awake, like someone who'd just been waiting for the cue. He looked right at me and smiled, but it wasn't his smile. Did you go? He asked. What? His eyes, normally hazel, looked darker in the dim light. Did you touch it? My chest tightened. You were dreaming again. He tilted his head, almost like he was amused. I wasn't dreaming. The room felt smaller. Go back to sleep, Nate. He chuckled softly. Too late for that. And then he closed his eyes and turned away, as if nothing had happened. I lay there until sunrise, staring at the back of his neck, listening to his slow, even breaths, trying to convince myself I hadn't just had a conversation with a man who wasn't asleep. By the third night, I started recording him. I set my phone on the nightstand, voice recorder on, and waited. At 3:12 a.m., it started soft at first. Murmurs. My name again. Then, she touched it. It knows now. Then silence, followed by something else. A sound I can only describe as breathing, but not from him. It was lower, guttural, wet. It went on for 13 seconds. Then the recording ended. When I played it back the next morning, Nate was in the shower. I listened, sitting on the edge of the bed, every hair on my body standing up. The voice wasn't his. It was something else. Something that used his mouth, but didn't belong in his body. Clara, it rasped, distorted and wrong. You shouldn't have found the door. I dropped the phone. I didn't remember ever finding a door. But now, full story on my channel, link below.